Album's coming out tomorrow. Had an album come out last month. I'm busy. Can't complain about being busy. I'm just fucking. Everyone's so fucking stressed out over this fucking election that we've got going on here. That
No shit. No shit.
it's just Jesus Christ, dude. Can we get to the other side of this already?
Well, yeah, theoretically that should already be the case, but
Yeah, no
you know,
shit.
man, that was going to be my first comment. Seriously, I'm Brad from the Metal Wanderlust, by the way, mate. AKA your Grouchy Friend is what I write under. Thanks a bunch for your time, Greg. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
Mate, you've been like you said, you've been on an incredible artistic run for some time now. That was my first question, mate. What the fuck is a day in the life of Greg Puciato like at the moment, man?
I mean, it's pretty fucking hectic right now. Like, yeah, right now I'm just doing these phoners all day long for the most part, but I'm working on some new stuff musically too. So I'm kind of trying to squeeze in some writing, when I can. Yeah, just like demoing things out and working on a couple different things at the moment, but that I'm excited about. So I've kind of been spending like the nighttime working on new stuff, and this just happened. Like I wasn't writing anything at all for the last like 7 or 8 months. Like I was like fucking burnt out. Did both of these records back to back last
Yeah.
year, and then finished them both. They both got done being mixed at the same time. They were both being mixed in like March, April of this year, and then the whole year, like May through now, has just been like trying to set records up and do all this kind of like that kind of shit behind the scenes, which is not really creative. It's more like just getting shit done. And then, but I was tapped out. Like I mean, that's a lot of output. Like between the two records, that was like 26 songs worth of output. So I was fucking fried,
Mate,
And
that's fucking crazy. That
you
is
gotta you
crazy.
kind of gotta let it come back to you naturally. You can't force it. And then yeah, like kind of like over the last couple weeks, I've just fucking started writing again, and it's like I'm stoked about what's coming out, and I can see where it's going to go. And I'm like, oh, this thing's going to be Black Queen. This thing's going to be more solo stuff. This thing's going to go in like the next Killer Be Killed record pile. I've got some other collaborations going on behind the scenes that I can't talk about, and that's going to go in this pile. And so I'm kind of, I feel good now again creatively. You never know, man. My biggest fear is that every time you do something, that's it. You're out. You're running out. You're out of gas. Because it
Yeah,
happens.
man.
It seems to happen to everybody.
I've always I've been I've dabbled myself over the years, and I liken it to it's like those waves that come, man. They come when they come, and people around you sometimes don't sort of get that, particularly girlfriends, wives, that kind of thing.
Oh
Where
yeah. Well,
if
yeah.
you don't catch that fucking wave when it comes, you don't know when the next one's coming. You could be
Oh,
sitting out in
dude.
the ocean forever.
Tell me about it, man. Yeah, people don't get that at all. They think that like creativity is like going to the store, like
Yeah, yeah,
someone's like they don't realize it takes time and it takes like you got to really like sometimes nothing happens for a long period of time, but that doesn't mean you weren't doing anything, Like it's like everything is yeah, things come, things go. But when things come, you got to fucking act on it. That's what I've learned. It's like you cannot fuck around and like wait for inspiration to come back because it will not come back. It'll just come by.
absolutely.
It comes by and it knocks on your door, and if you don't answer, it just goes. It's like whenever you have an idea, you got to grab it. Like it might be in the shower, you might be driving, you might be hanging out with a friend. You might have to get up and walk out of the restaurant and be like, "Hey man, I'll be right back." And then you're a crazy person outside, and you're in the parking lot, like fucking singing shit into your voice memos or something. And I've done that a million times, man. And those things always turn into something. Like you got to fucking grab them when they come, dude, or
Absolutely.
else
So, I
they
mean,
never
I
come
guess
back.
Max would be one of those things, I guess, in a more tangible sense that you guys grabbed onto each other, and here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, man, he's a writing machine too. Like you can't slow that guy down. He's kind of fucking out of control, man. We called him the riff pisser. We nicknamed him the riff because Max drinks a lot of caffeine. Like he'll just drink like Diet Cokes like all day long, and then he just never stops writing riffs. So like Troy and I realized really early on that you kind of have to like you got to come ready to rock because if you don't, like Max will just write the whole record. You gotta fucking. So like we're just like, God damn, dude. We called. I don't know whether it was me or Troy, but one of us called him the riff pisser because he'll just keep fucking pissing him out. You gotta be like, whoa, 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 hang on, let me get an idea in here before you take over the whole thing. But that's
So,
awesome. That's what you want in a collaborator. You want someone that's fucking strong and aggressive. Like the worst is when you got to pull shit out of people, or if you're like kind of begging someone to contribute. Like that sucks. Like you don't want to do that. You need to fucking like you want people that are aggressive and like coming at you with ideas left and right,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely, man, absolutely. I look the same. I think the same can be said for that's not a music thing, man. That's a no matter what you're into, whether you're writing, whether you're in business, whether you're in whatever, that's the way the world
Absolutely.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You want people that are fucking aggressive or in your when you're collaborating with any partner and anything. You want someone that's going to try. You kind of want the situation where you're both trying to drive the car at the same time, you know? But like, and then you just try to not fight with each other. You know, you gotta learn how to play nicely, but you're fighting. It's like you're having a fight, but you're trying not to fight. It makes any sense?
It does make absolute sense because you're like I
Yeah.
said, I've fucking been there, man. I've had those fights. But
Those relationships end up being really productive if you can fucking stay on the road. You know, if you keep the car on the road, then you end up fucking really kicking ass. You know,
I
it's like
love the analogy, man. It's dangerous as shit, but you got to give it a go.
yeah, man, for sure.
So, like you touched on, I think a torrid time to be releasing music, and you're releasing a ton of it. In a strange way, I think audience are more attentive, and I think their psyches have more to gain from the art that they get into and listen to.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, during the fucking election, the socio-political dissonance and crap that's going on around the world, do you get a sense of I guess more of a thirst and more of an impact as people are receiving the output that you're putting out?
Man, it's hard for me to. I don't really. I feel very disconnected from it. Like I feel like it's difficult to feel um, that. Like I understand when I'm in a room and there's an audience, and that then it hits me. I'm like, oh,
True,
people
true.
heard these songs because it's right in front of you. But like, if it wasn't for the internet, like I would have no idea that anything was happening. You know, like you would just be like, yeah, I recorded this record, and I was told that it came out, and like people dig it, but like you don't really have any connection to it. So it's like I don't know. Like I don't know whether people are more receptive or whether people are more or less into music or art right now. Like I don't fucking have any
How about
idea, man.
I guess to change the perspective on that, how about yourself as a listener, as a fan? I mean, you're living through all of this stuff the same way the rest of us are. From your
Yeah.
perspective, has it connected you more with some of the art that you listen to and consume, or is that a
Now I
thing?
find that I've found that over the last like 8 months I've listened to less music and watched less movies than any other period of my life, I think. Like I've really like I haven't seen a single fucking Netflix series. I haven't watched any new movies. Like I'm just like I've got a list of movies that I want to watch that I haven't. Like I haven't listened to much new music. Like I feel that might also be because I felt so dead from making these two records that I just wanted to not hear shit for a minute. Like I just needed to sit in silence and fucking
What
do
is what is
something
that?
not.
What is that sitting in silence? What did that stopping kind of look like for you? What's your go to start? If it's not the constant stream of art and that kind of stuff. What do you do when you're
Um,
chilling, when you're taking a pause?
I just try to hang out with a friend or do something that like involves human contact or
I hear you.
something that involves the outside, or fucking go outside and just try to like get some nature in you because everything musical is technological now too. So you're just kind of it's impossible to get away from. It's like if you're doing an interview, if you're doing some emails, if you're fucking writing a song, if you're recording a song, if you're like everything you're doing involves like technology of some sort at some stage of
Screens
it.
constantly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So for me, like getting my ears, not just giving my ears a break, but giving like my sensory input, like allowing myself to slow down. That's the thing I really value is like just being able to like go be with someone and hang out with someone in a capacity that where we don't take our phones, we leave our phones in the car, or you turn them off, or something, like anything. Go on a bike ride, go on a hike, sit in a park, fucking hang out and smoke pot together, like whatever it is, like just something.
Real
Eat a bunch of
connections,
mushrooms.
yeah.
Eat a bunch of mushrooms and sit in the middle of the fucking wild. Just something that gets you back to like the source and allows your brain to slow down. So because I will keep speeding up if I'm given the option to. Like my go-to is just pedal to the floor, and I'll just keep fucking going until I'm so. I have ADD too, so I move. My brain is like I feel comfortable when there's like 8 million things happening around me. So I'll just get to the point where I'm like fucking kind of in the center of a hurricane, and I feel real calm in that environment. But it's obviously it exhausts your dopamine receptors, and it exhausts your kind of like you become overstimulated, and you can't slow down, and you fucks with your sleep, and it like so. I'm like I've been trying the older I get to like kind of like juxtapose the kind of like manic creative phases that I go into with really trying to get as much stillness and as much like getting away from that as I can when I can.
For sure. So you seem, I've noticed this in interviews I've read and listened to from you, and obviously I'm getting it from you now firsthand. You seem a very introspective kind of type, very self-reflective as you get older.
Yeah.
Moving towards working with the guys that you've been working with, Cantrell's another one where you've had a crack at,
Oh yeah.
but being able to work with some amazing people. What's the as you do those and you do those more, you're working with some people that you and I would be fans of.
Right.
What's
Yeah.
the
It's crazy.
what's the inner monologue like when you first go in to work with those kind of people? I think a lot of fans would probably be like, "Wow, that must be fucking amazing." But that inner monologue, when you kind of reflect on it, how do you feel going in there, man? What's the tension in your head like? How's that feel?
Well, the interesting thing is by the time you get somewhere, you're ready for it. So it's like you have to go. I get off on going back and telling like my 13-year-old self that this is cool. I have to remind him. I'm like, this is fucking cool, man. And like just let him know that like that's fucking Max and that's Jerry and that's you can send fucking memes to fucking dudes in Metallica and shit. Like that's fucking like that's not. I know that it's not normal, but it feels normal. To me, it's like I don't care about how big someone is. I have fucking friends in bands that are little commercial bands, but they're artistically incredible, and I have friends in bands that are in gargantuan commercial bands, and those guys are, also artistically incredible. And to me, it's like, do you vibe with someone or do you not vibe with someone? And like that's not like just creatively. It's like, do you have chemistry with a person? Do you feel the same? Do you resonate the same? It's like, you meet some people and you're like, oh, we're the same. It's like Cantrell. We met and we were like, oh, like we would have been best buds if we were both 13 years old at the same time. And and we can connect on like a musical level too. That's cool. We're gonna fuck around with this a little bit, or the same thing kind of happened with Max, and same thing. It's like Asian Steve and the Black Queen. I call him Asian Steve, whatever. But like Queen, he's he and I. So it's like you just like fucking meet people that you vibe with, and it's like I can either rock with you or I can't. And like I don't, I got over like the oh my god that guy is in some band I was a fan of a long time ago. It's like I fucking we did shit with it's like Nine Inch Nails and Trent and shit when I was like in my fucking mid-20s, and then like
it's one of my biggest fucking regrets, man. One of my biggest regrets. My wife went to
Soundwave, whatever.
Soundwave show down here where you got up on stage with them, and I was like, it was a moment of weakness where it's like, no, you go, I'm fine. One of my biggest fucking constant regrets, man. Fuck you guys and fuck ever going. It's not fair.
Yeah, man, it used to trip me out more. Like all that shit tripped me out more, but now I just feel ready for it. It's like you get over it, I think like if you're Kobe Bryant, you come into the league and like, you're fucking all excited to play against Michael Jordan and you're excited to play with these people, and then eventually you're just like, okay, yeah, I accept this. I accept. It's to me what trips me out is that these people consider me to be worth working with. That's what trips me out. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just fucking me. I just do what I do. I'm the same. I'm really the same as I was when I was 15 years old. Like I'm not much different. So I don't, I'm always like, I just keep waiting for it to be like, it's like a joke. Like someone's playing a joke on me. Like, this is like, like you guys are fucking with me. Like I don't really believe it. I'm like, okay, dude, cool. Yeah. I'll sure Jerry, I'll come fucking sing some Alice in Chains songs with you. Or, sure, Max, I'll show you some. I'll give you some riffs. We can write some riffs together. I'm just like this is kind of laughable that I've managed to pull this off for this long. That's what I keep thinking. Like when audiences like what I make and shit, I'm like, this is funny. Like I'm not doing anything special here. I'm just being myself. I'm not doing anything really out of the ordinary. So like, to me,
all a big ruse.
Yeah. I'm like, when are people going to be like, hey, this guy actually sucks, but it doesn't happen.
Can't see that happening, man.
I just keep doing it, man.
Perspective.
Yeah, dude. I'm aware of enough now as I've gotten older. I've kind of taken a little bit more ownership of it, where I'm like, I don't think that I suck. I just don't understand it. So because it's like, so I just try to protect it now. You know what I mean? It's not so much that I'm trying to like foster it or like I try to like fucking do go out of my way to like get better or make crazy like I'm not trying hard to like do things that are going to propel my career or something. I just try to protect whatever it is that I have that people seem to dig. I just try to protect it and not corrupt it, and only make decisions based on enthusiasm, like genuine excitement. Like if I'm not excited about something, I'm not going to do it. Like it doesn't matter how much someone's trying to pay me. It doesn't matter whether or not, it like could lead to something else that would be, quote unquote beneficial for me. Like I don't do anything that I don't feel fucking like stoked about at like a really pure level. Like if I don't wake up and feel fucking excited, like if it doesn't make me feel like I can't get enough of it, like I don't do it, and that, I mean that in terms of like a collaboration, in terms of a song I'm working on, in terms of fucking just what I do with my time every day. Like I just do not fucking want to do shit unless it's pure. And I really think that that's what ends up keeping people relating to things, man, is when they
That's
can
what I was
sense
going to
that.
jump in with, man, for sure. Like it's
So
especially solo stuff. It's clear as fucking day. It's authentic as all hell. And
I
that's what
said to
people are
something
hearing.
today. I said to a friend of mine today, I said, look, the difference between art and entertainment is where it comes from. Like if you like, art is like an abstraction. So art is coming from your soul. So if you tap into like your raw essence and you make something out of that, regardless of what tool you use to make it, like a paintbrush, guitar, whatever, you just sort of like, you reach inside and then you shit out this little egg. You're like, here's this fucking little egg that I made out of this piece of my essence. Like if you do that, that's fucking art, because it's a piece of somebody's like inner thing. If you don't do that, then it's craft. It can be entertaining. You can make entertainment. You can make fucking craft. You can craft a song. You can get 30 people together to work on a fucking pop song and make something that's undeniably catchy and makes people feel good. That's not art. It's a craft. There's 30 fucking people sat there working on it, tinkering with it, and manipulating it. But art is an abstraction of someone's soul. So for me, like that essence has to be in everything I do. Like I will not do something unless I feel like I can activate like the absolute like innermost part of me to fucking do it. Because then I feel like I'm fucking a dancing monkey. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm a product, or I feel like I'm a fucking, kind of like someone's just throwing money at me and I'm doing a dance, and I don't ever want to do
Fucking
that.
here, mate. Here.
There's enough people. There's enough people to do that. Like I don't need to do that. Like
they're everywhere.
yeah.
Hey man, so I guess dragging this towards the album for the last bit of our chat, we're kind of rolling away through this here. So I'll drop in a bit of effusive praise here. So like in some ways, I see your vocal as like the perfect middleman to Max and Troy. Max is all brute force. Troy's got that kind of mythical, religious, shamanistic kind of delivery. You're kind of, to me, the perfect blend to link those two. Beautiful cleans to complement Troy. You've got your shrieking, barking, fucking vicious thing that you do. Complements Max. To me, it's really something. I think in terms of wielding that weaponry most effectively, how do you guys go about kind of arranging it and writing together to get those vocals to sit? Who are the lyrics coming from? How does that puzzle go to work? Because right from the fucking first song on this album, man, it's incredibly seamless, like even more so than album number one.
Man, I mean, you would think that we would have a fucking like hard time with it, but we kind of don't. Like it's weird. Like for me, it's a fucking awesome role. Like because like everything else I do, I have to do everything. I gotta come up with every goddamn vocal, every goddamn part. Like Kill or Be Killed. The cool thing is that I know that I'm more of like a shapeshifter. Like I'm a little bit like a fucking utility player. Like in baseball, they call people utility players that can kind of like play any role. Like if you need them to fucking play first base, they'll play first base. Play outfield, play outfield. Like I can.
Dude, that's exactly what I'm getting at here. I'm glad you.
And so I can morph. So like, and those guys cannot, but they have really strong character voices. Like where like Max is really strong, like in one thing, and Troy is really strong in one thing, and they're instantly identifiable. So for me, that's perfect, because if you have three people like me, it would be a mess. So like, because it would just be people, it would no fucking rhyme or reason. Everyone's trying to do 19 different voices and all this different shit. It would just be all over the place. So for me, the best thing is if I have one of those guys go first. Like if Troy goes first or Max goes first, it gives me like an anchor to like pivot off of, so like I can fucking be like, okay, Troy did this sort of thing. Now what can I do best to complement what he's doing that's either going to happen right after it, or it might happen like, in the background, or can I throw a little harmony on something, or can I do a little scream? Like there's, it gives me a lot to fucking, work around, because instead of having to come up with the picture myself, and someone else has sort of like filled in like a big part of it, and then I can do like detail work around it. That's how I see it. But for a lot of the times I have the most fun in this band, like when one of those guys lays the first thing down. Like, and a lot of times, that ends up being my role. Is like I fill in, I start to fill things in. Like
It's funny, man. I think.
And I realize now I'm doing it on the guitar too. Like a lot of the guitar lead stuff and like the texture stuff is all like that kind of mentality. Like where can I fill in? What can I fucking do to color this or shade this differently? And the only song on the record that was completely mine is From a Crowded Wound. That's the only song that I wrote. From a Crowded Wound is my baby. Like I wrote that front to back. Like I wrote all the lyrics. I wrote their vocal parts. I told them what to sing and where. Like I wrote the drum beat. Like every single part of it. I'm the only person that's even playing guitar on that song. Like Max isn't even playing guitar on that song. So like that whole song was mine. But I've been cooking that one for like 10 years. So that's the only reason that's the only reason I was precious about it, because that demo is from 10 years ago and I just couldn't fucking finish it. It was supposed to be for the first Kill to Be Killed record and I couldn't finish it, couldn't get it over the finish line. Like I just couldn't figure it out. And then I came back to it and finished it. So I was really protective of it. And I was like, that's the only one on the record. I was like, this is mine. And had to, had to be that way about. But like every other thing I really got off on kind of playing off of those dudes,
Dude, there's some great some great kind of hardcore punk rock feels on the album. Filthy Vagabond is a fucking ripping track. Tell me about that one.
One of my favorite songs on the record. So that main guitar riff of the verses and the choruses, that might be, I think musically that song's mostly mine, but then now that I'm listening to it in my head, it's almost all mine until the last record. The last riff of the song is a Troy riff, but the verses and the choruses and shit were my guitar parts. But then Troy really took the lead on the vocals. That song vocally, I was stuck on. Like when you write the music, it's harder to write the lyrics, like because you're fucking you're thinking musically. To me, like I have a hard time separating my brain. I'm like, fuck, I have to step away from it for a while and come back to it because I can't get my brain to kick over into like writing vocals.
Particularly in terms of fresh melody, yeah? Like you get stuck
man.
You get stuck in the movements of your rhythm and the movements you created around it. Yeah, totally.
That's been really unusual for me because I'm used to reacting to other people's music and Dillinger and stuff. Like I just reacted to what Ben would send me, and it would always trip me out that he was never able. He couldn't really hear vocals. Like he would be like. It's always what was wild to me that people would send me music. And,
to be fair, man, I don't think any fucking human being could hear in their head the shit that you were doing.
I understand that. I understand that now. Like now when I listen back to it, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what were we? How did we do this? This is crazy people music. But yeah. So for
I'm proud to be one, man. That shit was insane.
I hadn't listened in a long time. And like I listened to I listened to One of Us Is Killer and like some of maybe Miss Machine the other day. Not the other day, like a couple months ago, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, dude, it's pretty wild. But anyhow, Troy, that he kind of came up with the whole like the chorus, and it was like he was a little like at first kind of hesitant. He was like, hey, I don't know if this is something you guys are going to be into, but I'm really getting kind of like this Motorheady like sing along fucking pirate ship vibe out of the fucking chorus of this, and he had laid down. We were out to lunch or something, and he had laid down like the chorus to Filthy Vagabond, and we were like, "Holy shit!" Like I would have never. That's one of the coolest parts of being in this band, vocally for me, is I would have never come up with that. Like I would have never come up with that. So like to fucking be like surprised by someone else's thing and be like, "Fuck, man," I would never thought of that. That's badass, And then him being like, basically was like, hey, we all love being on tour because we do. Like some people in bands don't like being on tour. They're okay with it, but they're not in love with it. Like we love being on tour, all four of us. Well, I would just stay on tour fucking 300 days a year if I could, So like, he was like, let's write a song about. I got the idea about it being in like kind of like just a road dog anthem, and like all of us just kind of saying how much we love being these filthy pieces of shit that like hang out in dingy clubs and get fucking piss and beer and shit spilled all over us. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds fucking badass, And then, so we just kind of each took turns on the verse. Like the verse is just, making it about like how much we dig fucking playing shows and touring and the whole rock and roll lifestyle and shit. It ended up being like, to me, like it's like one of the most fun songs on the record. Like that song live is going to be a fucking blast.
Mate, I was going to talk about a few more songs, but you've taken me exactly where I wanted this shit to go. Thank you for that. So, Dillinger were a fucking wild ride, like a ticket I grabbed every damn time I could. We're, blessed down here in Australia with the shows that the Killer Be Killed did. There's a certain political luminary who, when it comes to the pandemic, used the word pent-up demand. Now, that particular orange luminary I don't fucking subscribe to at all, but that idea of pent-up demand really does fucking apply here. You've got metalheads that are being starved of shows worldwide. People are going to be fucking gagging for some Killer Be Killed, man. You guys want to get out on the road with this one or what?
Fuck yeah, we do, man. Like, I mean, we were going to, when, before all this happened, we had shit booked all the way through fucking end of 2021. Like, fucking, like, I was supposed to bounce back and forth between, like, a bunch of different shit, obviously, like, for, like, the next year and a half, and I was all geeked about kind of doing that and not having to, like, beat one thing into the ground. It was gonna, I was gonna do solo stuff and Killer Be Killed stuff and fucking, some Black Queen stuff and some other stuff, and I was just, really stoked about it. And now it's like, oh, cool, I'm not gonna do any of that. But we're definitely, we want to, man. Like, we're so geeked on the album behind the scenes, like, all of us, and we were fucking, I think we kind of keep each other floating through this COVID thing by, like, reminding each other that we're going to go out and play this at some point. But yeah, it's fucking, it's going to be a bitch. But when things come back, every band is going to want to go on tour at the same fucking time right away. So, and that includes all of our bands, so it's like suddenly Mastodon's going to want to go on tour all the time, Converge, fucking Max will be in, doing a bunch of shit. It's like, it's going to be tough, but I mean, we're going to. I would say that the third Killer Be Killed record will happen before too many years pass too, because we're so fucking fired up about it right now that, like, I've been writing for the last couple of weeks, and I already have a couple things that are in the KBK pile that I've sent to Max that he's been like, dude, this is sick. So we're already kind of moving towards. We've got the fucking ball rolling in this band right now for more shit. So as soon as shit opens up, we're gonna play wherever we can. Obviously, we want to get down there. It's like one of my favorite places on the earth, even outside of playing shows. So, like, fucking anything to get back down there,
Well, dude, I got to tell you, in Perth, we haven't had a community transmission in about 7 months. So, I think in terms of the pandemic, it's the place to fucking be, man. Sun is shining, like, just come down.
Perth rips, dude. I don't know what happened in the last 20 years, but like when Dillinger first started going there, Perth was kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, you want to go to Sydney and Melbourne, and then like about fucking going all the way west. It's pain in the ass.
You guys just had to learn, man. You just had to learn.
Yeah, but dude, the last couple times I've been to Perth, I was like, this fucking rips, like fucking, went around the city, like fucking hung out in some fucking, at some fucking outdoor rooftop bars or whatever. Fucking when it was in some nice park. There's like some big fucking park with all this crazy fucking sculpture shit happening, kind of by where the water is. I can't remember what any of this shit's called, but I went for a run. Last time Dillinger was there, like the evening before the show, like I went for a run and kind of just ran all around the city. No real better way to like get a vibe for something than being on foot, So like, and I was kind of like, damn, this is fucking really nice. What a really nice place. And I had no idea that, and it seemed really vibrant. Like, it seemed like it had a really fucking vibrant energy to it. Suddenly.
Super chilled at the same time, though, man. I think, low population. We've got that isolation, which I think creates that vibe. Particularly artistically and that kind of stuff. A lot of music, a lot of art that kind of comes out of here. We're very isolated, like I said. People didn't get across from the east, from Sydney and Melbourne, quite a lot for a long time. So we just sit here and fucking gestate with all this kind of creativity.
Yeah, I dig it, man. Next time I'm down there, I mean, I really try to do this every time, but it never works out. But like every time I go somewhere now that I really like, I'm always trying to think like, okay, maybe I can tack a week onto the end of this and I can just hang out here. But then it never happens because someone books something for like 3 days later somewhere. Like, oh, cool, never mind, But I fucking definitely want to fucking, hopefully next time we get to play down there, whether it's with Killer Be Killed or whoever, I want to spend some fucking time.
Mate, before
actually hanging out.
You've put my head in a place. You guys in Dillinger, the first time I saw you down here, you played in a tiny, tiny fucking club called the Amplifier on a stage that just should not have had you guys on it with the way you move. It's so fucking small. One of the greatest shows I've ever seen, man. Musically, I can't remember, but just the energy in this tiny little fucking place.
Do you remember what tour that was on? Was that on Miss Machine?
I think it was on... Oh, hang on. Was it... no, I'm thinking... Fireworks?
Fireworks, maybe? Yeah. Fuck, man, that's crazy.
Oh,
I
dude.
feel like we landed that day too. I think that was like a weird thing where like we landed that day. I know exactly what show you're talking about. We landed that day, and everyone was bitching about it because you obviously want to get there for like a couple days before you start playing. It fucks your body clock up so much.
Decompress, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, we landed that afternoon of the Perth show, and I remember all of us thinking that we're gonna be dead. Like we had been awake for like 27 hours or something. Because like I have a hard time sleeping on planes. So we're all just like, dude, this is gonna suck. I can't fucking. We're all mad. Like I can't fucking believe that they booked. You know, someone booked our tickets. Who fucking booked these tickets? Like everyone's pissed. You know, and then that show fucking ripped. Like that show ended up fucking ripping, and we were all so tired. So I don't understand. But like, yeah, when you the energy was so high at that show. Like that was when we had Tuttle and Gil. Uh, you know, right? Jeff Tuttle and drums. Yeah, that was that was the Ironworks lineup. Yeah, I remember that show well, man. I remember that show well. It's kind of like a makeshift. Yeah, it was like this fucking bar tavern type vibe or something like that.
Yeah, it's like a bar. Oh, it's tiny, and I mean, I've played on that stage, so it must be fucking small. But
yeah, I remember that, man.
Ben Weinman should not be put in that smaller space, man.
No, he's a hazard to everyone's health.
Dude,
he's a hazard to everyone's health on a big stage, dude. You know, especially mine. He's on my right, and he's got a fucking guitar, pointy guitar, like you know, on my right. So it's always kind of like, you know, at least 50 times a show, I feel like a breeze. And I'm like, oh, cool. You know, that was your guitar. Thanks, bud. You know, and then like every now and then it cracks me. But when you're on a stage like that, it's like, fuck, man. Like, I hope I don't have a glass eye tomorrow. You know.
Yeah, I used to play with a lefty, and we set up on the wrong sides of the stage one night, and our vocalist was pretty fucking unimpressed. As he went nuts, we went nuts, and my bass headstock and the guitarist headstock were making frequent contact. Not a fucking good idea. Man,
the bass is the one you got to watch out for, man.
Yeah,
I've been cracked open. I got cracked open by Ben probably 50 times. Like the back of my head looks like a road map. There's scars all over it. I've got scars on my face. I got a fake tooth, you know. But like fucking, you know, that's just because that. But that thing's light and it's quick and it fucking just kind of cuts me. The only times where I really was like, holy fuck. The only times I really thought I had like a concussion or something were from Liam. You know, like those are the ones where you're like, dude, fuck, man. You know, that thing's got some fucking. The bass has some fucking weight to it.
And he anchors down hard, man. He gets his gorilla legs set and fucking.
Oh yeah, he grows roots. He's got this weird yoga root. You know, he just kind of gets like fucking A.
So seriously, look, thanks a bunch for your time, man. I know our readers are going to be pumped to hear from you. The album is fucking. It's a ripper, man. I fucking love it.
Thanks, dude. I'm fucking stoked to hear that.
For me, it's just I've been immersing in some Greg Puciato without sounding weird for about 2 months.
Man.
Reviews and listen to your stuff. So, congratulations on all the success, man. It's I think in the review of your solo album, I made mention of. I think it's fair to say you are hitting the peak of your powers, mate. You have been amazing for a long time as a frontman and in what you do in Dillinger. But this sort of stuff, we're seeing you. I think that's a very, very powerful thing. I think we spent a lot of time talking about a lot of shit. So yeah, I've got to get in there. The album's fantastic. Any last message for the readers of the Metal Wanderlust? They love their shit hard, man. So they want to hear from you.
Man, just fucking, you know, obviously it's thanks for anyone who's fucking giving a shit, you know, for whether you just started giving a shit or whether you fucking don't give a shit and you're gonna check something out, or whether you did and you were into Dillinger and you're into this too. Like, I'm fucking stoked. Like, I love, you know, fucking Australia was one of the first countries that we ever went to. There were a lot of countries in the world that didn't fuck with Dillinger yet. You know, like we would go there because, you know, you go to Europe and every country's different. So you might fucking, you're doing well and you feel really welcomed and you're really digging one country, and then you fucking drive 3 hours and 13 people show up to see you in fucking, you know, Germany or wherever. And it took a long time for some countries to catch us. And when we went down to Australia for the first time, we were blown away by like how the shows felt and how the people felt and the country itself and like everything about it. And then the same thing happened when we went with Killer Be Killed, and the same thing happened when we went with Black Beans. So I fucking love it there, and I fucking love y'all, and I can't wait to come back in every capacity that I can and fucking do some rocking.
Fucking awesome, mate. Can't wait to see you. Thanks again for your time, Greg. Appreciate it.
Brother, you too, man. Talk to you later.
Stay safe.
All right, man.